So in this lesson, we'll be talking about constraints, and we'll be tying the constraints of this equipment to this right or the left arm. I think we should do it to the right arm. Yeah, the right arm is fine. All right, so how do we do that? We'll first go to, you select this right hand, you'll find the name here, control hand, that's C stands for control, hand underscore ik.r, which r signifies the right. So you take note of that name. Okay, switch to object mode, select the rod, come to under your constraint panel, select add constraints. There are a lot of constraint parameters that we could actually use, but what we are aiming for is child of. So we'll select child of. So we are saying that this rod is a child of the rig. So we'll set the target, we'll pick this dropper and select the rig. All right, or you can actually type in rig. Okay, you'd see rig there. Then which bone do you want to target? Okay, remember that our control underscore hand underscore ik.r. So it's asking you which bone do you want this rod to be a child of. So we'll type in the bone, we'll say C underscore hand. You won't take time, you'll see it here, hand underscore ik. So when you type that in, you see that it already goes, it starts acting up. All right, so not to worry, you clear inverse and set inverse. Now this is the influence that the other parents, this is the difference between parenting manually and constraint. So it gives you influence, so you can actually reduce and increase the influence of this object such that when it picks it up, it drops it at the end of the day. Okay, so that's what we want to do. We'll switch back to object, we'll select our rig, switch back to pose mode, pick up, select our hand here. If we lift this now, you can see that it lifts our character, our object, with ease. Okay, but now while this is selected in that pose, I'll come back to object. If I select this rod now and reduce the influence, you see now it has dropped, it automatically drops the object back to position. All right, so that's the difference between parenting manually and using constraints. So this influence will come in handy when we are animating. So now let's go back to pose mode and continue animating our character. So while this is selected, so let's return this, back to the default, where it was. Okay, so we've posed this character, we'll select everything. Hold on, let's make sure we actually posed it right. Okay, great. We'll select everything, press I to add a keyframe. So I'll be using 5 frames interval to, just like we did with our jump. I'll be using 5 frames interval, then we'll time the animation. Okay, we'll go into timing our animation to have that believable animation at the end of the day. So the next one is the anticipation, which is it's getting ready. Okay, so I think what we are going to pose here is our torso. So we'll lift this up, select our pull this back just a bit, looking at it from the front view. I think I'll move this forward. I'm sorry if you hear my dog, I apologize in advance. Okay, so I think the head should look down on what he's carrying. so there should be a little bit ease. I mean, it's different. The arc here is different from the way it is here. Okay, so we should ease in the bend on the spine. Just give the spine that bit of tension. So I think we should actually, okay, I think the shoulder should just stay put. So pay attention to the hands. So you see the hands have gone out of position. So we'll select that now. Select everything. Press I to add a keyframe. So the next pose is this one, which is at frame 10. Okay, so while this is still selected, I'll bring this down, the torso down a bit. So now this is where auto stretch comes in, because if we pull this now, there's no auto stretch on the IK. Remember our last lesson we talked about auto stretch. So we'll select this first IK, the left IK, then switch to auto stretch. Select this one, switch to auto stretch. So when we rotate this now, there is that constraint, there's that stretch here. So let's clear out this rotation for the head, because at this point the head looks up, so that you can see it here. The head looks up there. So let's have that, this arc. If you look at it from the side view, you can even pose the bum or the buttocks, or you call it the buttocks, so it has that pose. I said bum, God help me. So you see it has that arc just the way we have here. So you know there's a book about animation called The Illusion of Life. So you should, you can order it on Amazon. You should read it. So animation is about creating illusion. So you're creating an illusion that this thing is actually heavy. Yeah, so there's not button. I believe some of you were thinking there's a button you press or you click and boom, it shows that the character is lifting weight. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to manually make the character lift weight. That's how it works. So I'll select everything while everything is still selected, and I think I'll move this forward just a bit there, so it shows that it wants to really grab this. It shows that momentum, like it's about to lift something very, very heavy. All right, I'll select everything, add a keyframe. So there's an issue here now. You can actually see that issue, and that's because of the constraint. So we'll come to frame 5. I think we'll start from frame 1, switch to auto stretch, come to frame 5, switch, do the same thing for the other hand, switch to auto stretch, go to frame 1, switch to auto stretch. So if we have that fluid transition. So I think we should, while everything is selected, let's switch to constant. So it actually shows us every frame the way it is. There's no in between. Select everything, every control, all the control, select all the keys, then switch to constant. So it shows us every pose as it is. So we'll come to frame 15. So remember, 5 frames interval. Okay, then this is the part where we lift it up. Okay, so I think here we'll clear out, because there's tension on the spine. So the key part is the spine now. There's more tension on the spine, and you see that part. So at this part is where he lifts the weight. So I'll select both looking at it from the top view, I'll select both hand and lift it up just like that. So you see it lifts, so you see it creates that anticipation. So the character is looking down, like, I mean, if you're watching this tutorial and you do not understand some Nigerian slang, I'm sorry. So at this point the character is like, man, I'm all this thing heavy, die. So he tries, there's an anticipation, like lifts it up. Okay, so he's like, oh my god, this is so heavy. So the head is still pointing upward, and the X shows that, you know, excruciating pain. It's like, man, if I don't take time, I may poop in my pants. So move this up just a bit there. So I think I should clear out this. Oops. Yeah, I think that I want to have that tension, that straight arc. So which means these two have to come down a bit, so it's not really, so there has to still be that tension. Oops, so select everything. I mistakenly went to frame 16, so select everything, set the keyframe at frame 15 there. So lift it up, lift. So the next pose now is where it lifts it, you know, much higher. So we come to frame 20. So we move this bit forward. So create an illusion that this is really heavy. We'll clear out this rotation for the spine here. Then we'll select both hands. Make sure you select both hands. Look at it from the front view, then lift it up a bit again. But this time you draw it much closer in to the character. So I'm pulling the torso back just a bit and the hands back. So there's still weight, so it still has that weight though. So select everything, set a keyframe. So let's see what it looks like from. So you see it carries it. So the next part, the next one, where would the next frame be? Guess right, frame 25. So at this point is where he starts shaking. It's like, oh my god, this is really heavy. So you notice that the feet will show support because if he doesn't take time, he might fall with it. So you show support with the feet. So that's where we bring this up just a bit. We'll rotate this. Let's first rotate the torso. Yeah, like yes, this is really heavy. Let's pull this up. Yeah. So where is my pull for the hands? So let's find it. Where's the hand pull? Where is it? This is it. So find it. So I want to look at it from the side view. So it has this it has this, that arc there, so we want to do the same thing. We'll copy it and paste it the other way, so don't forget. So we'll do this, make it stretch. So look at it from this front view. So I'll rotate the head too. Like, this is really heavy. I think I'll move the hands in on the y-axis. So select everything, add a keyframe. So, and also while still on that frame, would create this support for the leg. So select this control, just rotate it on the y-axis, copy it and paste it the other way. Okay. So select everything, add a keyframe. So move to frame 30. So at this point is where he brings the weight to his chest level. So I'll select both hands, move it up right there. So at this point we'll even rotate it on the X axis like that, bring it towards the chest level. So we'll clear out the rotation for this and pull this backwards. Drop the torso to give support. So I'm looking at it from the side view, so you need to create that balance at the end of the day. Select these two hands, so you're actually using your eyes. That's how you become good at this thing. I mean, you training your eyes, actually using your eyes to gauge. Let's rotate this on the y-axis so it faces forward. Clear the rotation for the head and move it up. So I'll select everything, add a keyframe there. So if I come from the beginning, lift, so you see, I think I should extend this leg backward just a bit. Oops, on the y-axis, so it has that. Okay, so at frame 35, we'll key this pose here. We'll key this pose. So we'll lift. So it now shows that there's a lot of weight now on this character. So we'll move this backward just a bit there. So I mean, I believe some of you who are watching this video, you have been to the gym before. So I'll rotate this on the x-axis This guy should not break his neck. Oh god, that big. Oh, so he pulls it further to himself, like, yo, this is heavy, this is really heavy. So you have to stretch it to actually give that illusion. So you can find the arc here. There's that illusion that the character is, if he doesn't take time, he will shit in his pants. So select everything, add a keyframe, come to frame 40. So key out this other pose right here. So this is where it begins to get messy. So I'll bring this forward a bit, clear out this rotation, bring this extra down. So I'll also pull this in to give that, you know, the illusion that he still carries something really heavy. So he has to be careful at this point so he doesn't drop it on himself. So he's noticed they are actually really subtle actions, not really. So I think I'll just move this on the y-axis. Maybe I'll just leave it the way it is. No, just leave it the way it is. So select everything, set keyframe, frame 45 is where he gets to his lowest position. So that lowest position is, would move this, would open up the legs, there. Maybe bring this forward and bring the torso down to its lowest position. So remember the hands, don't forget the hands. So at this point we'll move the poles in front just a bit, don't overdo it. Remember, your poles cannot be messed with. Okay, rotate this in, bring this down, see, I should make it touch his chest, and rotate the head. So he looks at it like, oh gosh, this is so heavy and it's painful, I need help. So select everything, add a keyframe. So now he lifts himself. We'll go to frame 50 and we lift the character up. So for that we'll select the torso, hold down shift, select the hand. So we want to maintain this expression right here. So we'll do that. We'll press Z, press G to move it on the Z axis. Move it forward. So at this point, rotate these two. I think we'll copy and paste it so have a bit of consistency. So we'll select the torso, hold down shift, select the hand, move it up So to create that preliminary action before it settles down on the main pose. So select everything, press I to add a keyframe. So at frame 55 is where we have this last pose where he comes to a resting place. So we'll clear out this rotation, look at it from the side view. Look at the hands. I mean, you've lifted weight before, so so I'll bring this down here again. So bring this forward. Can I rotate this now? So I think that works. So select everything, add a keyframe. So if we scroll, so you notice we're going to add a bit of timing to the animation, anticipation. So there's a bit of work to be done. So these are first blocking. So in our next lesson, we're going to work on the timing. So it adds that believability. We're going to offset a few of this of these keys or these poses. So take your time, follow through with the animation, follow through with the poses, watch and study the poses, try to get it as close as possible. You don't have to get it 100%, but try to get it as close as possible. So in the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to add a bit of believability to this shot. So I think I should just bring this back to frame 60 or something. Yeah, frame 60 right there. So we play this. So while everything is selected, if I select all my keys and change to Bezier, so you can see the weight lift is coming alive. It's coming alive. So the next thing we're going to do now is timing and offsets. We would have a much cleaner and believable animation. For now, if you've gotten to this level, I'm really proud of you. I'm really happy that you've taken this step. I know it's not easy. Animation is hard. I mean, I told you from the beginning that you're in for a very long ride, and if you're consistent and you follow through, you're going to get it right. And this is the best technique, industry technique, and best technique I'm giving to you in the industry. All right, so going to see you in the next lesson. Bye.